Hi everyone, this is again Dr. Kalyani from Team MDS Conquer. So this is about smoking and periodontitis 2. Actually, we have covered most important part as everything in the smoking and periodontitis 1 video. 2 here I have included mostly it's smoking and perio. So if it is asked about smoking and perio or how is it influencing the treatment, how is it effect on non-surgical therapy. So if you see the questions are mostly split and ask sometimes. So in those situations this video will help you. Okay, so let's quickly see what's there in this. Okay, this is again those articles which I've quoted in my earlier video only because I didn't want you to miss about the smoking. Okay, so this is effect of smoking on plaque. So smokers may have higher levels of plaque than non-smokers, accounted for poorer levels of oral hygiene. So there is nothing like a hard and fast rule. If the patient is specifically maintaining the oral hygiene in spite of being a smoker, then this would not work for them. Okay, so there again studies have quoted. These are all studies given in Carranza. So because most of them would be landmark studies, that's how I want you not to miss from these things. Okay, then effect of smoking by subgingival microflora. So this is what is it, what kind of microflora are increased in smokers. It's a relationship given here. Neutrophil function, the effects of smoking and tobacco on number of neutrophils, neutrophil chemotaxis, neutrophil mediated tissue damage, and neutrophil mediated DNA damage. So again the studies. Lymphocyte function, effect of tobacco and smoking on B lymphocyte and on tobacco on T lymphocytes. So these are again those Hughes, and if you remember by now you should all know that by heart that these are the authors or these are the persons who have done good enough studies over these things. Moving to GCF. So they again it's a very important thing. GCF volumes are significantly lower among smokers than non-smokers, and there are studies given. Supportive studies, Pearson, Bergstrom. Coming to gingival fibroblasts, so there are also certain the proven relationship as such as the fibroblast is still going on, but then you can see they always prove that there's a relationship. PDL fibroblasts, if you see these are all after 2000. Before 2000 people were worried about showing an association. Only after that they started moving to little histological way. Then there comes non-surgical therapy. So what's happening? Your coming patient is coming, you have given a patient a good treatment. So obvious thing is non-smoker will have a better results. Former smokers will have further more or less like non-smokers. According to some studies they say former smokers have little less when compared to non-smokers. Then far its current smokers have a poorer results. So non-smokers are more in excellent plaque control plus smokers. So that means even if the smoker maintains an excellent oral hygiene, even then he is still lesser than a non-smoker. So surgical therapy, again there was a Stonati study, Rosenmark study. Cochrane systematic review in 10 says that tobacco smoking also affect the outcome of periodontal plastic surgeries, and smokers show significantly decreased sites with complete root coverage when compared to non-smokers. So effect of smoking on non-surgical and surgical therapies. There are two, non-surgical and surgical. So how is it affecting? Make a note of it. Antimicrobial therapy in smokers. So how is it? And it's basically that only few studies were done. Whatever it is, we just have to mention because all it is important is are we covering it in our heading or subheading. Soft and hard tissue grafting, again obvious thing is that in a smoker everywhere there is a decreased thing. So regeneration, again decreased bone fill, increased membrane exposure. Then the supportive studies by Tonati, Zucchelli. Implant therapy, this is what is only from textbook. Hundreds of articles are there. I always tell you can always add up further research, recent one, everything. But these are the most important, you're not supposed to, like Cambron, Clockywald, Taganda, Hinault. All these are the people who are almost the authors of a book. So these people and their studies. So maintenance therapy again has a systematic review. Then there is one maintenance care. Then recurrent and refractory disease. So what is it? Smokers generally have this problem. because of the refractory to traditional periodontal treatment tend to show some periodontal breakdown than non-smokers after the therapy. Impact of smoking cessation on the periodontal. So once if the patient feels like, okay, I'm ready to quit after you told me all that, so what's happening? What is the treatment outcome? So this again are so basically smoking and hair. There's some topics in perio where it is the studies are an integral part of those things, part and parcel. That means it is not that even a very average answer or a very average student or whatever it is have to include these studies. Genetic polymorphism and smoking, the association. NAT2 gene is very important. Okay, moving on to the references. So as I told you, my earlier references also, Carranza, Rosemary Linde are